Hello there, amazing viewers and subscribers, and welcome to a brand new Doctor Who review for today. So for this Doctor review, I'm going to be reviewing my favourite story out of season 18. As you can see here, it is on Blu-ray. I love this season. Now, I'm going to say why I really do enjoy season 18 more than season 16 and season 17. And of course, I do kind of enjoy this a bit more than season 15. So I will dive in when I get to do my review on the entire whole season of season 18. So I'm literally just going to pop the Blu-ray there so you can still see it. So the story I'm going to be talking about is, of course, The Keeper of Traken. Now, there's a reason why this is my favourite story. So when I was growing up, I was watching Doctor Who with my dad. This is the first story I remember watching from season 18. I remember watching the season with him on VHS, and then of course I remember watching it when he got the DVD late in about 2008, 2006, that time period between 2006 and 2008. I remember watching it with him along with Logopolis and Castrovo, but I remember watching it back in the early 2000s, say about 2001, 2000 or 2002. I remember watching this with my dad on VHS. Well, mind you, though, I did open the VHS so I could watch it before my dad, and he weren't best pleased with me for that one. But I remember watching this one growing up, and it was the first story I had to introduce me to this season, season 18. The Keeper of Traken, for me, it's brilliant. I can't find a fault with this. So let's dive into the review, shall we? So opening up, we've got the TARDIS travelling back into End Space. Now, this follows up from the trilogy of the East Space trilogy, where the Doctor and Adric made it back into our universe, and Romana and K9 Mark II is stuck in the East Space universe. So you got the Doctor and Adric talking about End Space, and he goes, "So this is End Space?" "Yes." "Do you know them all?" "Well, just the interesting ones." I really do like Tom Baker and Matthew Waterhouse just in this story in general, without having Romana and K9, or having without Nyssa and Tegan, which we do later on get in the Peter Davison era. I really do enjoy Adric with the Fourth Doctor, because there's so much more to Adric's character in this story, and admittedly it is the only one where it's just the two of them travelling in the TARDIS, where in the next one they kind of get Tegan and Nyssa by the end of Logopolis. So I really do prefer Adric with the Fourth Doctor. I kind of wish we had more stories just with these two before we get to Logopolis. I wish we had, like, say Logopolis was in season 18 or something like that. I would really like to have more episodes just with Adric and the Doctor, well, Adric and the Fourth Doctor, instead of Adric being thrown in to the mix with the Fifth Doctor with Nyssa and Tegan. So we kind of got them talking as well, and of course Adric points out that they're going to Traken, and the Doctor goes, "Going to Traken? Who said so? You set the coordinates for it." "You set them." "No, you must have." "But I didn't." "Did I? I wonder what the law of probability would say about that." I really like the way Tom Baker is actually playing the Doctor as well. And the way she goes through his head, goes, "But I didn't, did I? I wonder what the law of probability will have to say about that." I really love the scene where you got the TARDIS like spinning towards Traken. And then of course we meet the Keeper of Traken. That's his name, just the Keeper. He's like kind of appears in the TARDIS to talk to the Doctor about the instance of what's been going on Traken with the Malka, which we do later find out that the Malka is actually the Master's TARDIS. Now, a bit more about that, because that comes into around about part 4. So part 1 is basically showing the Trakenites. We got Tremas marrying Nissa's stepmom. Yeah, stepmom, not her actual mom, because I think her actual mom is dead. And somebody said it was about her mom. So we see Tremas marrying Cassia. And of course, Cassia used to be the keeper to the grounds where the Malka is basically parked, and it's getting moist, so she's there wiping the moist off the Malka and all that lot. So the keeper turns around and says that Cassia is now married to Tremas, that her kind of job to look after the Malka has been finished, is passed down to Nyssa. As of course, Cassia isn't really happy about that, because technically the Malka is alive, but it's actually the Master's tie. So when we do hear the Master talk, like the Malka talking, it's actually the Master. And of course, the Master's getting Cassia to do her bidding. And of course, when the Doctor arrives, it notices the TARDIS, fires these little laser beams to make the TARDIS kind of go invisible. And then, of course, you got the Doctor and Adric just there, kind of like talking about that they're being called by the Keeper. And, of course, the councils of Traken basically activate the little ring things to bring the Keeper. And he goes, "Evil! The sectum has been invaded! Keeper, tell us! Consuls, we have been invaded by evil!" And he just vanishes. And then, of course, they're all just looking at the Doctor and Adric. And that's the end of part 1. I really like the way it leads into part 2 as well, because when you got the Doctor say, "Consuls, you saw what happened. Your Keeper was attacked." The way the fourth Doctor is there trying to reason with him, and then literally just about to blame him for the death of the Keeper. Absolutely great, but they do get put under the protection of Council Tremas in this episode, in part 2, and you kind of got the Doctor working with Tremas, finding what's been going on, and of course they're trying to find out where the TARDIS is and everything else, and then of course the whole plot is where you got Cassia talking to the Melker, aka the Master, really. And I really do like the way how the Master's there trying to get her to do her bidding, do his bidding for him, and then he's literally going, "Find your TARDIS, Doctor. Our time will come soon." I really enjoyed the way the Master's just there, been playing in, trying to tune into the source of the Keeper, so he can try and renew himself, because this is the Master burnt as a crisp. He's trying to find a way to survive, and by basically using that, he thinks he can use the source. So when you get to like part 3, and you got Cassia basically sitting on the throne because they volunteered to become the Keeper because the Keeper basically dies. She's there, and when they're going, "Now active, no, you go, Keeper. You are active to the source." And then you've just got Cassia kind of like moaning and groaning, like going, "Ooh!" And then of course her body fades away from the seat of the Keeper, and all of a sudden we hear a TARDIS materializing, which is actually the Malka, which basically leads us to believe that it is the TARDIS, because you just hear the Malka basically take over the seat. And then in part 4, you kind of got the Doctor and the Malka basically talking to each other in the throne room, and they kind of go through the Keeper, like the gateway, and the Doctor ends up in the Master's TARDIS. And then of course when you got the Masters there going, "Well, Doctor?" "Of course, the Master. What do you think of my ship?" And I really do like the way how they're talking, and the Doctor's just there, froze by the button of the Master, going, "You see, Doctor, I'm going to become like you," because he's going to use the source of the Keeper so he can jump into the Doctor's body, to use his brain as part of his library. And of course, thanks to Adric and Nyssa kind of interfering with the source, and basically the Malka starts to blow up. So the Master TARDIS is actually there starting to blow up. The Doctor does escape, but the Master escapes as well because he has a secondary TARDIS. By going into his second TARDIS, he managed to escape the first TARDIS. And then, of course, is the grand clockwork. So after the Doctor and Adric kind of defeat the Master, they leave Traken, going into the TARDIS and basically dematerializing and going on to the next adventure. You kind of got Tremas and Nyssa kind of having a good father and daughter kind of talk going on. And then, of course, he tells her, "Go away. No, go. We must clean our quarters. I'll be there in a minute. Go on." And then, of course, you just see this clockwork TARDIS that we know it's the Master, because the Master basically escaped. Tremas just goes and touches the middle of the clock and goes, "Help, Nyssa!" And the way you just see Jeff D. Beaver's Master going, "So, a new body at last." And the way he just transforms into Anthony Ainley's body to make a younger version of Tremas, but it's actually the Master. And the Master's used, and basically Tremas dies, and the body that the Master's basically steals is actually now the Master's body. Very complicated when you think about it. And then, of course, you just see Anthony Ainley's Master going, "A new body at last." And, of course, Nyssa goes, "Father, where are you?" And that's basically where the Keeper of Traken ends. It does lead into the next story, where you kind of got the Master going to Earth and trying to, that's another review for Legopolis, which is one of the reasons why I do enjoy Legopolis. It's my second favourite story of season 18, I have to believe, and then the State of Decay is my third favourite. So that is basically the plot of the Keeper of Traken. I have to admit, I really do enjoy Keeper of Traken. It is my favourite story from season 18, just because it does so well with the whole mystery between the Malka. Part 4, it reveals it's the Master, and that the Malka's the Master TARDIS, and then you kind of have the Master having a secondary TARDIS. So I do like the idea of having a TARDIS in a TARDIS, where the Master's just using his TARDIS, it's blowing up, and he just escapes in another TARDIS, which is kind of cool. the Master's got another TARDIS, so you can literally just jump in it, dematerialize, and go and cause trouble somewhere else. Or in this case, he stays on Traken and takes over Tremus's body, and Tremus basically dies at that point, and the Master basically becomes Tremus. I have to admit, I really do enjoy the story. It's literally a 10 out of 10. One, it brings back the Master since The Deadly Assassin in 1976 from season 14. So we are literally in season 18 and season 14. So we've got 3 seasons that we've had without the Master in it since season 14. So it's great to see the Master back again. I really do enjoy Anthony Ainley's performance as Tremus. I really think he's brilliant. And then when that last couple of minutes, when you just see Tremus being taken over by the Master and de-aged, and I really do like Anthony Ainley's evil laugh when he becomes the Master. I have to admit, I really do. I have to admit, Keeper of Traken, it's literally a 10 out of 10. It's one of the stories of season 18 I always go back and rewatch the most. I have to admit, if I'm in a mood for a season 18 story, this is the one I go back and rewatch. I'll probably watch it more on the Blu-ray than I do for the VHS or the DVD, because I do have both on VHS and the DVD. But I do actually have to admit, I do prefer the Blu-ray version, because I just love watching it in HD. When you just see Jeffrey Beavers like transforming into you got Jeffrey Beavers and of course Anthony Ainley kind of transforming into the Ainley Master, which is the one thing I really love about this story, because it's just genuinely fantastic and stuff. I also have to admit, I do like Tom Baker with Adric, because I really think them two are just brilliantly together. Sarah Sutton as Nyssa, technically she was supposed to be in just for this one story, but because she was so good, John F. Turner wrote her into the next season, and of course this season, and then of course she does leave in season 20. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of season 18? What do you think of the Keeper of Traken? Is it one that you personally enjoy? Is it not one you personally enjoy? Let me know in the comments. Please do like, subscribe, and share. And thank you for watching, and thank you for being magnificent viewers and subscribers.